Hello there, and welcome back to War Thunder. So, today we're actually in the original SAP slinging machine, the Imperiatritsa Mariya. This is a Russian slash Soviet, but in this case, because it's in its 1916 configuration, actually Russian battleship or dreadnought. It is its own class, or the lead ship of its own class, and it has 12 guns, 12-inch, and they are in 4 triple turrets. And you know, those Russian battleships, they have all a very distinct look because of this arrangement, which they all have, aside from the battlecruiser Kronstadt and the Novorossiysk, which is a former Italian battleship. And it is similar to the Marat, the Poltava, Patritskaya Komuna in its effectiveness. And the outstanding capability that this ship brings with it is the SAP round. Now, there are powerful SAP rounds for a lot of nations, but that you have 55.2 kilograms of TNT in a 12-inch round, and that also with a 0.05 second fuse delay, and close to 400 millimeters of pen, and at 5 kilometers 300 millimeters of pen, and at 10 kilometers 223 millimeters of pen. That just is big pain. That is big pain for cruisers in particular. And despite the ship having a battle rating of 6.7, when I played it yesterday and today, I had the luck of being in live matches, so where there are many cruisers to kill, where there are not that many powerful battleships, and also where nobody really seemingly looked at me as a threat. And this SAP round, you know, it has its limits. If there is a battleship with the all or nothing armor scheme, you are just not doing a lot of damage. Now, you still have also the AP round, which also has this 0.05 second fuse delay, to which we'll come in just a moment, and also the HE shell, which is, you know, okay with 47 kilograms of TNT. But the AP, that kind of lacks a little bit the penetration when fighting with the big dogs. You know, you're 522 at 5 kilometers, just short of 400, and at 10 kilometers, just shy of 300 millimeters. So it's rather not the raw penetration damage, it's not the raw statistics, right? And also you have here a reload with 33.3 seconds for an ace crew, fully trained, maxed out. And yeah, as you can see here, funnily enough, I should have switched to the AP versus this angled cruiser, but he's also taking, just from the raw SAP penetration damage, so much damage. Yeah, he has all sorts of fun. Knocked out modules, big flooding, big fire. This SAP round just seems to detonate where it hurts the most. And I think that this is something that this ship always kept as, you know, a special feature, I think. I think that also having 12 guns brings in so much firepower at once if you fire full salvo, together with the not so bad accuracy, that it just does the job. Now you could say, oh, it's a slow ship. Yeah. Oh, you could say the torpedoes are borderline useless. Yeah. Oh boy, it barely has any AA. Yeah. But when it comes to the anti-ship warfare capabilities, you know, this ship is fantastic. And before I talk here more about why I show you this entire match, why I just want to talk through the ship, I also want to mention the secondaries. And Russian secondaries are something else, because they are both numerous and effective. And here you have 10 per side, and there are the 130 millimeter 55 patterns from 1913, and you have a lot of ammunition. You have AG, which, you know, is not bad with 4 kilograms almost, and then the SAP round. Now that helps you to destroy destroyers effectively. It helps you to absolutely bring the pain versus some not so well protected cruisers, you know, and assist you in sinking them. And also you can annoy battleships with it when you knock out their system with their knocking out their secondaries and their AAs, etc., etc. So the thing is, I complained wildly and loudly about the 40-second reload on the USS Mississippi and basically all 14-inch armed US battleships, and yeah, it is really not good. Now here we have 33.3 seconds, and yeah, the reload increase compared to the 15-inch ships, for example the Bayern and the Sachsen, is notable, but therefore you have 12 guns, and you have such effective firepower that it's a completely different feel, and you are assisted by your secondaries. And you are not within the complete vicious repair cycle all the time, or at least as often as ships with super firing turrets, where they have an increased chance of getting their barbettes knocked out. Here you can see also another advantage, that the 3 foremost turrets, which represents 3/4 of your firepower and most importantly 9 barrels, can swing from one side to the other without having to do a full rotation. Like only the rear turret has to do a full rotation if you have to switch to sides, and that helps you to be flexible. It helps you to engage targets if they come from somewhere, and yeah, the firing arcs are fantastic, so angling is a thing, and detonating those ships is not that easy. You don't have the best torpedo protection system that there is, and I have died to a torpedo in the previous battle, but here I just have to say that the reason why I show you this battle is the result. It's just that it was so much more relaxing. Yes, I wasn't really challenged. Yes, for you it might look boring, and it can be, but if you always wanted to fire big battleship shells at cruisers and to get something out of it, then this is your ship, and I really love it. You will not have that much fun versus the likes of Scharnhorst and Bayern and Mississippi and so forth, but when you have an enemy battleship at rather close ranges, you can switch to armor piercing. And despite the lack of its penetration, it seemed to hit really hard. And you know, I'm testing a few theories here and there, and I have no confirmation yet. But I believe that a large portion of how shells are effective is a large fuse delay. And the Soviets have amongst the highest, with 0.05 for their large caliber shells. And they bring in the pain. They bring in really the destruction where it matters. If a and funnily enough, versus cruisers, that does not mean over penetration. And so I think that short fuses aren't actually that good, and you really should rely on long fuses. Long fuses are obviously then better to go through the armor and keep the shell flying to the inner parts of the ship, the guts if you will, or the magazine. And you know, I don't have here some statistical analysis here for you. I don't have, like, aside from theory crafting, much to show for aside from my game experience, but it seemed to hit harder if you have a longer fuse. And yeah, I think that this is also making the huge difference between, for instance, a normal HE shell and an HE shell with base fuse. If you come to the destroyer fight, if you come to the cruiser fight, right? And so with battleship shells, I think if the fuse is too short, Gaijin gives us here a time. So that means ships like the Mississippi that have massive penetration but a mediocre fuse of 0.035 should also do considerable damage, and when penetrating, let's say, a 400mm armor plate, they should be in the same ballpark with the remaining penetration, if you will, compared to, you know, this ship, which has with its AP shell, you know, around 500mm, but yet it seems to do more damage. And here you can see that I reload now the AP, so let me just quickly demonstrate this. And honestly, when facing those Russian BBs and you have a competent captain that knows how to select his shells, then you are in a world of trouble, because he can deliver at least the pain. And whereas the Marat has the magazines really buried deep underwater, here you have it rather on the waterline. Let's see the effect of the shells, and yes, we did considerable damage, but no magazine detonation. Now those USBBs, they are tough nuts to crack, at least on paper. In practice, when I have USDDs, or when I command them, when I play them, not so much, so there is that. And here you can see the problem with the reload, but we then send the shells over this little tip of the island, and we detonate him. Good. So we hit the shell room, blow it all up, good stuff. And I think, I don't know what causes it, but when I play this ship, I just have a better time. I have better results. I have more fun. I'm less frustrated. I get more RP. I get more silver lines. And so if you have, like for example, the USS Mississippi, I know it's a bit of a higher battle rating, but I don't get anything out of that. I have heard the opinions of the people in the comment section. I've heard you, believe me, but I can say that the Mississippi can work from time to time. Here the wrong shell type used, and yet we do all sorts of funny damage to this destroyer. I just can't stand ships like the Mississippi. This one, it's just a bit more flexible, and all the AA and the radar and the 40mm Bofors, they are in practice a bit of a disadvantage, to be honest, because, you know, you get spammed with HE and somebody just farms you with HE, and then you have to repair, for example, a barbette, and then the first thing that gets repaired is the AA positions, and then they are ready to be farmed again by HE, you know. So that's just how it is in War Thunder, and those are this is further enhanced by those infuriating bots shooting across the map with single HE shells that always seem to knock out something, right? So this ship, it's an absolute monster. It's an absolute powerhouse with its SAP. You really feel the pain even on bot cruisers. I think that this is a good line to invest into. I know that in the West, especially, the Russian or Soviet Navy doesn't have the greatest standing. But in War Thunder, and I'm only looking at the game here, those ships are marvelously effective. They are just a force to be reckoned with. And the Imperiatritsa Mariya is just simply the OG SAP shell slinger. And it's really powerful. And when I have extraordinary results, it's either in one of those Soviet battleships, or it is just a lucky game in another battleship that is outstanding, like the Scharnhorst, or I always want to say Gneisenau, but you know what I mean is then the Alaska, or obviously the Kronstadt. But this is just simply also equipped with, I would say, a lot of style, a lot of dreadnought feel, vibe, if you will, and I love it. I absolutely love it. And if you are interested, I can also visit some old battleships, some old cruisers, see how they fare, and give you an update on this, because for this update, well, that's already everything that there is. The destroyer for the battle pass is alright, but nothing that we do not already have in the tech tree, or something similar. And the next update will take a couple of months from now, so you can see that this is a bit of an issue in terms of looking at new content. Nobody really cares about patrol boats, which I can understand, but here I think there are a lot of old veterans, if you will, in the game. And yeah, that's it. So honestly, I have now my 12 kills, and I know that I don't get any more. I try to now shoot up this battleship with SAP rounds, but it doesn't really help. I think I'll end the video and go right to the results screen, so meet me there. Obviously I can't end on 12 kills, so here is kill number 13, which I just found out. And now we can have a look at the results. So for roughly 20 minutes of playing, 25,000 damage, 13 kills, 4 assists, winning the game with a premium account and a talisman, I got, without a booster, 25,000 RP. So it was really relaxing. It was almost like meditating, swaying along in old times and memories. And I hope you enjoyed this video. Let me know in the comment section if you want to see some of the OG ships, you know, some of the really great fighters. And as usual, please give this video a like if you did, subscribe if you want to see more, and we'll see each other on the battlefields, in the skies, and on the waves of War Thunder.